Excellencies, distinguished delegates, we would like to inform you that the meeting will commence shortly. We kindly invite you to take your respective seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the President of the Republic of Indonesia and heads of delegation of the high-level meeting of the 10th World Water Forum. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we will commence the meeting. Please kindly take your respective seats.
Yang mulia para pemimpin negara, pimpinan organisasi internasional, Presiden Dewan Air Dunia, Ketua DPR RI, para delegasi yang saya muliakan. Peran air sangat sentral bagi kehidupan umat manusia. Bank Dunia memperkirakan kekurangan air dapat memperlambat pertumbuhan ekonomi sampai 6% hingga tahun 2050. Kelangkaan air juga dapat memicu perang, serta bisa menjadi sumber bencana. Too much water maupun too little water, keduanya dapat menjadi masalah bagi dunia. Dalam 10 tahun terakhir, Indonesia telah memperkuat infrastruktur airnya dengan membangun 42 bendungan, 1,18 juta hektar jaringan irigasi, 2.156 km pengendali banjir dan pengamanan pantai, serta merehabilitasi 4,3 juta hektar jaringan irigasi. Air Juga kami manfaatkan untuk membangun pembangkit listrik tenaga surya PLTS terapung di Waduk Cirata sebagai PLTS terapung terbesar di Asia Tenggara. Yang mulia, Forum Air Sedunia ke-10 ini sangat strategis untuk merevitalisasi aksi nyata dan komitmen bersama dalam mewujudkan manajemen sumber daya air terintegrasi. Ada 3 hal yang Indonesia konsisten dorong. Yang pertama, meningkatkan prinsip solidaritas dan inklusivitas untuk mencapai solusi bersama, terutama bagi negara-negara pulau kecil dan yang mengalami kelangkaan air. Yang kedua, memberdayakan hydrodiplomasi untuk kerjasama konkret dan inovatif, menjauhi persaingan dalam pengelolaan sumber daya air lintas batas. Yang ketiga, memperkuat political leadership sebagai kunci sukses berbagai kerjasama menuju ketahanan air berkelanjutan. Dan melalui forum ini, Indonesia mengangkat 4 inisiatif baru, yaitu penetapan World Lake Day, yang kedua pendirian Center of Excellence di Asia Pasifik, yang ketiga tata kelola air berkelanjutan di negara pulau kecil, dan yang keempat penggalangan proyek-proyek air. Yang mulia, air bukan sekedar produk alam, tapi merupakan produk kolaborasi yang mempersatukan kita, sehingga butuh upaya bersama untuk menjaganya. Dan dengan ini, saya nyatakan sesi pertemuan tingkat tinggi Forum Air Sedunia ke-10 dibuka. Berikutnya saya mengundang Bapak Louis Fosiong selaku Presiden World Water Council untuk menyampaikan sambutannya. Saya persilahkan.
Mr. President of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Head of States and Head of Governments, Excellencies, allow me once again to thank President Joko Widodo and his entire team for the fantastic organizations of the 10th World Water Forum. Our world, ladies and gentlemen, is suffering, and so are its inhabitants. Our Earth is damaged, and its natural resources are in great danger. This situation is often due to our lack of awareness. We all want to improve this situation and the injustice it causes. And during this week of the forum, let's turn our dreams in reality. Let's go to the waterbed through our actions. Let's work together to cure it of all the ills we have caused. We are working for people and we are working for nature to conserve and to enhance biodiversity and revitalize the ecosystems that surround and support us. Excellencies, you hold the highest responsibilities in your respective countries, in the field of water as in others also. That's why we say to you here, with respect and consideration, that we need you, your understanding and your commitment, because water is politics. And in the future, water also will be hydro-diplomatics. And first of all, and that will be my first message, we need to identify better exactly what's happening to water in each of our countries. We are talking always about the climate, but the attacks on water, the lack of water security are also due to demographic growth, urban overcrowding, precarious housing, uncontrolled pollution and their consequences for public health. The main cause of immigration in the world is from the countryside to the cities, which are becoming more and more huge reservoirs of poverty where hunger and disease reign. Excellencies, urban sprawl is not inevitable. We must first restore the essential services of water and energy to rural areas where half of the humanity now lives. And in practical terms, this means adapting water resources, distributing access to water, and implementing sanitation through the country. Technical solutions are known and are available to you. And if necessary, our World Water Council is there to make them known and to encourage exchange. My second message concerns the financing of water. Since the Dakar Forum 2 years ago and again today in Bali, we have been calling for the water debt to be waived for the poorest countries and cities. We want your help to ensure that a significant proportion of the various climate funds are directly earmarked for access to water sanitation and the repair of water-related disasters, droughts, and floods. Join our Money for Water coalition to help solve this financing problem. And the third message is to support the horizontal approach through the Five Fingers Alliance: water, energy, health, food and education, in innovation, financing and governance. It's by linking essential basic services that we make progress against poverty and for prosperity. And my last message concerns governance. Governance should guarantee an equitable responsibility shared between the states, between the basins, and between local authorities, because time of centralism is over. At international level, please call for water priority based on multilateral cooperation, and it's essential for strengthening the rules of mediation for rivers, lakes, and basins. Through hydro-diplomacy, as I've said, bringing peace to the banks rather than wars to the river. So you understand my call. You also, all together, could be water warriors. And I believe that in this way, through dialogue and sharing, that the future of water for prosperity and peace will be written. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih Yang Mulia. Selanjutnya saya mengundang Yang Mulia Dennis Francis, Presiden Majelis Umum PBB ke-78 untuk menyampaikan pidatonya. Yang Mulia dipersilahkan.
Your Excellency Joko Widodo, President of the Republic of Indonesia, Excellencies, the heads of state and government, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to join you here today in this beautiful city of Bali to participate in the 10th World Water Forum. I extend my gratitude both to the government of Indonesia and to the World Water Council for co-hosting this most important convocation and for their gracious invitation. Let me also express my deep appreciation to the authorities and people of Indonesia for their gracious hospitality and for the warmth of their reception, so expertly on display last evening at the welcome dinner, featuring the vivacious energy and dynamism of the youth of this richly diverse nation. Your exemplary leadership in championing the global water agenda recognizes that although water manifests through its availability or lack thereof locally, it is, in fact, a global resource gifted to us by nature the distribution of which is a matter of geography and climate, and increasingly in contemporary times, a matter of climate change. As we convene amidst the lush green landscapes and seascapes of enchanting Bali, inevitably we are reminded of the very essence of water as the source of all life on this planet, and indeed as a lifeline that transcends borders, cultures, and belief systems. Under the theme Water for Shared Prosperity, we gather to deliberate on practical ways to foster better, efficient, and integrated management of the planet's increasingly scarce water resources in order to drive and support sustainable development rather than impairing it. Building upon the impressive momentum achieved during the March 2023 UN Water Conference, which mobilized more than 800 commitments compiled through the Water Action Agenda, I am hopeful that this forum will meaningfully boost progress in international cooperation and in the formulation and implementation of concrete actions to stabilize the medium to long-term availability and management of water, and indeed of the intergovernmental relationships that are key to guaranteeing sustainable outcomes. It is important that our efforts to better manage water resources are synergized with the broader agenda of achieving all 17 Sustainable Development Goals, all of which will be impacted by the availability of water. Excellencies, the indisputable reality is that we are facing a myriad of interconnected and complex challenges, among them climate change and water scarcity, and in many cases across the globe, water contamination, which itself imposes the additional problem of challenges to health and possibly therefore to life. Pragmatism dictates that as an international community, we do everything necessary and desirable to avoid water becoming a flashpoint for disagreement and open conflict. Bearing in mind that we are living at a time when the ease with which peace can be disrupted, and once disrupted, the difficulty of restoring it, it suggests that we must take all necessary precautions to avoid further imperiling it. Investment in water is therefore investment in sustainable development, but investment in global water cooperation constitutes an investment in peace, as indeed in the long-term stability of the water supply. Success therefore demands that we unite in common cause and act strategically to surmount these challenges and to fortify and guarantee our resilience, recognizing that water cooperation initiatives are absolutely essential to creating a world of prosperity that is at the same time water secure and peaceful. Over the coming days, let us address the bottlenecks in our implementation and explore innovative solutions that harness the transformative power of water as a catalyst for peace, solidarity, and shared prosperity. Through its 6 sub-themes, this forum affords us an opportunity to take stock of our progress, raise awareness, and exchange views on how best to leverage water as a driver of sustainable development, rather than as a driver of conflict and confrontation among states. One definitive approach lies in collaborative innovation, which holds huge potential for unlocking the full potential of our water's resources. By adopting innovative financing models and leveraging technological advancement, we can enhance our capacity to manage food and energy consumption sustainably, thereby also paving the way for a brighter future for generations to come. I urge each and every one of you to seize the opportunity before us, to forge connections, share insights, and galvanize collective action towards building a water-secure and sustainable world. Mindful that in many parts of the world, the ocean and seas are the main supply of water, we must pay attention to the condition and circumstances of our oceans. In this regard, I should like to emphasize that as a cornerstone of my presidency of the General Assembly, I decided to spotlight the dire threats posed by sea level rise. This looming specter represents not merely a challenge, but a real threat to the safety, security, and indeed survival of small island developing states and low-lying coastal communities. What is at stake could well be the inundation and loss of territory on the part of these vulnerable countries, not to mention the potential loss of culture and heritage that would accompany their submergence. Given the fragile nature of these economies and the fact that they did not cause the problem of climate change, it seems correct as a matter of ethics and principle that they should receive the support and cooperation of the international community in coping with the challenges resulting from sea level rise. At my initiative, the General Assembly has taken bold and decisive action towards building momentum on urgent and targeted redress, notably through the decision to convene a high-level plenary meeting on sea level rise on September 25, 2024. My hope is to see today's Water Forum outcomes being leveraged at this high-level plenary meeting and the much-anticipated Summit of the Future also in September. Let us seize upon these momentous events as clarion calls to action, igniting decisive measures to champion our water agenda while also combating the imminent crisis of sea level rise. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, let us draw inspiration from the Balinese philosophy and channel the spirit of Tri Ita Karana throughout the World Water Forum, recognizing that water is not only a source of physical sustenance, but also a sacred element that binds humanity to the rhythms of nature, also fostering harmony between humanity and the environment. Together, in harmony with ourselves and our environments, we can overcome the challenges we face and navigate towards a secure future where water becomes a true source of solidarity, unity, prosperity, and peace. I look forward to the outcomes of this forum and retain high confidence in its significant contribution to the UN Water Agenda, particularly in informing the deliberations leading up to the UN Water Conference scheduled for 2026. I thank you.
Terima kasih, Yang Mulia. Selanjutnya saya mengundang Yang Mulia Antonio Guterres, Sekretaris Jenderal PBB untuk menyampaikan pidato melalui video message. Yang Mulia, saya persilahkan.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I thank the government of Indonesia and the World Water Council for organizing this important gathering. Water is life. It is central to healthy people, ecosystems, and biodiversity. And as this year's theme reminds us, water is key to our shared prosperity. Yet, water is under threat. Needless competition, mindless consumption, and reckless pollution are draining and poisoning the world's lifeblood. Climate change is pushing water temperatures to deadly new highs. Glaciers are melting, seas are rising, and river flows are shrinking. And people will pay the price in droughts, ruined crops, malnutrition, disease, and disasters. Governments around the world are waking up to this crisis. This forum is a critical opportunity to discuss solutions around water and sanitation, disaster risk reduction, governance, finance, and innovation. The United Nations stand with you in these efforts. Following last year's UN Water Conference, we will launch the UN system-wide strategy on water and sanitation in July. The UN Water Conferences in 2026 and 2028 will be milestone moments for the world to carry this work forward. We need to put water at the center of all our efforts on climate, biodiversity, and sustainable development. Let's work as one to give this vital issue the attention it needs. Let's take action for water, and I thank you.
Terima kasih Yang Mulia. Yang Mulia, kita telah mendengarkan pandangan dari PBB dan perspektif yang lebih luas. Tentu sangat diperlukan termasuk dari parlemen sebagai wakil rakyat. Pada kesempatan ini, Saya menyambut baik pertemuan yang akan diselenggarakan oleh Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat Republik Indonesia dan Persatuan Antar Parlemen di sela-sela Forum Air Sedunia ke-10. Untuk itu, selanjutnya saya mengundang Yang Mulia Ibu Puan Maharani, Ketua DPR Republik Indonesia. Yang Mulia, saya persilahkan.
Yang Mulia Presiden Republik Indonesia, Bapak Jokowi Widodo, Yang Mulia para pemimpin negara dan pemerintah, yang terhormat Presiden World Water Council, yang terhormat para menteri, kita duduk bersama untuk satu tujuan, yaitu merespon berbagai tantangan global yang tidak pernah terjadi sebelumnya. Mulai dari kelangkaan air, banjir, kekeringan, kebakaran hutan, hingga kekurangan gizi, dan berbagai persoalan kesehatan lainnya. Ancaman krisis air juga telah lebih nyata, bahkan menjadi sleeping crisis. Organisasi PBB untuk lingkungan mencatat lebih dari 50% penduduk dunia sedang menghadapi kekurangan air setidaknya 1 kali dalam sebulan. Namun demikian, perhatian masyarakat internasional saat ini lebih fokus pada isu geopolitik, persaingan kekuatan, dan kompetisi ekonomi, bukan pada isu ketahanan air. Studi terbaru menunjukkan peningkatan signifikan belanja militer hingga mencapai 2,4 triliun US dollar pada tahun 2023. Jumlah itu mencapai 2,3% PDB global. Pada saat yang sama, pengeluaran sektor air di negara berkembang dan negara miskin hanya 0,5% dari PDB negaranya. Nampaknya kita terjebak dalam kondisi misalokasi sumber daya. Ini sungguh kontradiktif ketika dunia dihadapkan pada ancaman luar biasa, termaksud yang ditimbulkan oleh perubahan iklim dan kelangkaan air. Jika parlemen dan pemerintah mampu meningkatkan pendanaan untuk pengadaan air bersih, maka persoalan kelangkaan air akan dapat diselesaikan secara signifikan. Parlemen dengan teguh mendukung berbagai inisiatif untuk air dan melakukan realokasi sumber daya untuk ketahanan air. Parlemen siap memainkan peran sebagai institusi yang mewakili rakyat untuk melakukan aksi demi menyelesaikan persoalan air di level nasional maupun internasional. Pada pertemuan parlemen siang nanti, kami akan membahas 4 isu substantif sebagai berikut, yaitu water as a deal breaker to achieve sustainable development, innovative practices for inclusive and equitable access to water, water at the heart of climate action and water diplomacy, cooperation, and science for peace. Komitmen parlemen terhadap agenda air sangat kuat. Isu air akan menjadi prioritas parlemen di dalam negeri maupun melalui diplomasi parlemen. Pemerintah dan parlemen memiliki tanggung jawab yang sama untuk mengubah kondisi kelangkaan air menjadi ketahanan air dan menjadikan air sebagai sumber kerjasama internasional. Akhirnya, saya mengajak, mari kita lipat gandakan upaya bersama sehingga hak semua orang atas air bersih dapat terpenuhi. Dan parlemen siap untuk menjadi bagian dari aksi bersama ini. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Yang Mulia. Berikutnya kita masuk ke sesi tertutup dan dengan hormat saya persilakan rekan-rekan media untuk meninggalkan ruangan pertemuan. Terima kasih.
Sebagai negara besar harus berani melangkah, harus berani memiliki agenda besar untuk kemajuan negara kita, untuk kemajuan bangsa.
Strut, didebut, pro. Strut, didebut, pro. Strut, didebut, pro. Didebut, pro. Serot ditebut. Rok. Serot ditebut. Rok. Yo! Hormat senjata. Tegak senjata. Out. Tegak, senjata! Gerak! Tegak, senjata! Gerak! Siap! Gerak! Istirahat di tempat, gerak! Tegak, senjata! Gerak!
be seated. Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening ceremony of the 10th World Water Forum 2024. Let us immerse ourselves in the harmonious display of music and dance, a reflection of Mother Nature's message, an embodiment of resilience, paving the way towards shared prosperity for all.
Indonesia, a maritime country. Dive into the depths of our aquatic wonders, where livelihoods intertwine with the rhythm and harmony.
Hello
Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you enjoy an incredible performance by Indonesia's brightest talents, the harmonious collaborations of Purwacaraka's orchestra and choir, Udayana University Marching Band, and the captivating dance performances truly epitomize the unity of music, art, and culture. We are also lucky to have the talented young singers Shana Shannon and Raffi Sudirman who inspire our youth, reminding us of the importance of preserving art as well as safeguarding our water resources for all generations to come. Now, we are honored to have a prominent speaker among us this morning. Kindly invite the remarks from Mr. Elon Musk.
Hello, everyone. Well, I must say I'm very impressed with this. This meeting room is amazing. I feel like I'm in a waterfall. And it's really lovely here, and that was incredible, incredible performance. So I must say I'm quite delighted to be here this morning talking to you and to experience this wonderful event and everything that Indonesia has to offer. It's amazing being here in Bali in Indonesia. So, hopefully everyone saw the mangrove forests because those are very impressive. It's several 100,000 acres of mangroves that I think have been replanted, if I recall correctly. So there are a lot of great things happening in Indonesia and the rest of the world. Overall, I would say I'm quite sort of optimistic for the future. I think we should never be complacent or entitled, but I do think that if we're not complacent or entitled, that the future will actually be great for the world. And I think we're headed to a bright future overall. And with respect to water, I've always thought, we call Earth Earth, but actually Earth is 70% water by surface area. So technically, I think if aliens came here, and a lot of people think aliens have come here, because they're always asking me about aliens. They would name us water, because we are 70% water and only 30% land. What that means is the potential for solving any given water issue is extremely good because there is so much water. There's obviously desalination required at times, and the transport of water, but desalination, as I think most people know, has become very inexpensive, and so really the availability of fresh water is simply about energy and transport. So that's when I talk to even very well-read, very smart people in the United States, they will often think, well, the water crisis is unsolvable. But in fact, it is very solvable. There are continuing breakthroughs in the efficiency of desalination. And anyway, I think we've got a great water future ahead of us, and I think a great sustainable energy future ahead of us. Yes. So anyway, hopefully that is. I'm kicking things off on a positive note. But I think with good basis for doing so. Yeah. With that, I think the next section is really just some questions or Q&A. If anyone would like to ask me anything about anything, I suppose we should generally stick to the topic of water, given that it's the water conference. But I'm happy to answer other questions as well. I'm not quite sure how the logistics of question posing works, but you could just say a question. Sure. If I heard correctly, what is the most important thing for solving the water crisis? Okay. Well, the exact solution will vary depending upon country and even region within a country. But as I mentioned, because the cost of desalination has dropped so much, if you're just talking about water for individual consumption or water in, say, a hydroponics facility, some kind of, we're not simply putting it on the ground for crops, but actually have some sort of contained facility that minimizes the amount of evaporation, I think you can basically turn any part of the world green, including the entire world. So it just begs the question of where does the energy come from? And here's where I think solar energy is very much underestimated in terms of its capability. So if you think about what would the Earth be without the sun, the Earth would be a frozen dark ice ball at roughly 3 degrees above absolute zero. It would be quite unpleasant. So, very cold and dark. But because of the sun, we're at quite a nice temperature, quite pleasant, sort of roughly 300 degrees above absolute zero. And the sun powers almost the entire ecosystem is solar powered. When you say, like, well, how much land would it take to generate electricity? There's a gigawatt per square kilometer of solar radiation that reaches the surface. So for every square kilometer, there's a peak power of roughly a gigawatt, which is comparable to a power station. Now, the sun doesn't shine all the time, obviously. So when you net all of that out and say, well, how much energy per day does 1 square kilometer yield? It's roughly 1 gigawatt hour per square kilometer per day, which is still a lot. So, and if you do the rough math, to power the United States, which is a heavy user of electricity, would take less than a 200 kilometer by 200 kilometer solar array, power the entire United States. And if you drive through the United States, there's plenty of sections of the United States where there is basically no people. Or another way to think of it is a small section of the Sahara could power all of Europe, or the world. Now, I'm not saying you would be so concentrated in the placement of solar power, because it's better to be more distributed. But the sheer magnitude of solar power that is available is often not quite understood. But the math of it is very clear. So I really would strongly recommend sort of a solar plus battery combination, or wind plus solar, can solve all of the world's energy needs by a lot. Yeah, so something that I would encourage everyone in the room to look at is, and you touched on that briefly, is that the cost of solar power has dropped dramatically over the years. So if you were to say, look at the cost of solar power 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, it would have seemed cost prohibitive. But the cost of solar power today is extremely low. And the cost of batteries to store the energy has also dropped dramatically. The cost of battery storage of electricity has dropped by a factor of 10 in the past 5 years. So many of the studies that were done in times past when batteries were very expensive and solar power was very expensive. And I would just encourage everyone to basically take another look at the cost of solar and the cost of batteries, and I think you'll find that you're pleasantly surprised. All right, time to wrap it up. Yes, okay, thank you. Well, it's an honor to be here, and thank you very much for listening to my words, and I hope you have a fantastic conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elon Musk. Please return to respective seat. Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here at the opening ceremony of the 10th World Water Forum 2024, let us honor the memory of His Majesty, the late King Hassan II, and for his strategic vision for his country's sustainable integrated water resources management in addressing the kingdom's water security. Attributed to an individual or a group of natural or legal person, whether public or private, and integrated to reward actions that promote the protections and preservations of water resources, improvement in their management, reuse of wastewater, as well as raising awareness among the populations about water issues. This is the King Hassan II Great World Water Prize.
Morocco, a hospitable and welcoming country that dates back thousands of years, has seen inclusive development recently in many sectors, including modern infrastructure, new urban mobilities, connecting territories, renewable energies, hosting major sportive events, and much more. To accompany the socio-economic development of the country, Morocco has adopted a dynamic, anticipatory, and sustainable water policy, which considers several challenges, in particular climate change.
واجب المسؤولية يتطلب اليوم اعتماد اختيارات مستدامة.
Government of the Kingdom of Morocco, His Excellency Mr. Aziz Al-Khanouch, to convey his remarks.
Merci, je vais vous laisser le temps de prendre le masque parce que je vais parler en français. Merci. Je voudrais tout d'abord remercier Monsieur le Président, le gouvernement et le peuple indonésien de l'accueil chaleureux qui nous a été réservé et vous féliciter pour la réussite de ce grand événement. Nous sommes présents ici, je représente le Royaume du Maroc, pour vous présenter le prix Hassan II, un prix lié à la personnalité du feu, le roi Hassan II, qui a fait énormément pour la politique de l'eau et le développement durable de l'eau à travers la construction de barrages et de réseaux d'irrigation. Mais également, c'est l'occasion de rendre aussi hommage à Sa Majesté le roi Mohammed VI, qui a engagé un programme ambitieux de l'ordre de 14 milliards de dollars pour la durabilité de l'eau, continuer à construire les barrages d'eau, le transfert d'eau de bassin à bassin, mais également plusieurs unités de dessalement dans les grandes villes comme Casablanca, comme Agadir, comme Tanger, qui verront le développement de ce réseau non conventionnel. Le prix Hassan II donc, est un hommage à ces grandes personnalités. Nous l'avons eu beaucoup de candidats cette année, plus de 80 candidats, sont tous très bons. Le choix a été fait pour une organisation internationale qui a le souci de l'utilisation de l'eau, qui a également la responsabilité de s'occuper pour nourrir le monde. Donc c'est le vainqueur, c'est la FAO, et je demande aux représentants de la FAO de se présenter.
Excellency, can you remain on the stage? Now we would like to invite the President of the World Water Council, Mr. Louis Fauchon, and the Minister of Equipment and Water of the Kingdom of Morocco, His Excellency Mr. Nizar Baraka. Also, the King Hassan II awardee to come on the stage. Let us count down for the photo stations in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Mr. Louis Fauchon, kindly remain on stage to convey the remarks. And thank you for His Excellency Mr. Aziz Akhanouch and His Excellency Mr. Nizar Baraka, also the King Hassan II awardee. Please return to respective seats.
Good evening, good morning, everybody. It's difficult to speak after Elon Musk. Thank you, Elon, to pay attention to water. We need your involvement. And you know that you are paying attention for years and years in constructions of water in your factories. You are saving a lot of water. Thank you for that, and thank you for the future.
Thank you, Mr. Louis Fauchon. Please return to respective seats.
No, I'm sorry. Other issues to discuss. I'd like to thank Mr. President and the government of Indonesia. You remember, Mr. President, during the G20, I asked you to be a water messenger, and you have been the water messenger. And I would like to thank you again and again. But be the better and the best messengers today is not enough. We need to do more if we want to spare and save water for peace and prosperity. And so now we need to be fighters. And more than fighters, we need to be water warriors. All together, water warriors. And I'd just like to say that today I would like to cry and to shout this obligation to respect nature and to provide water for men. And so, just very shortly, 7 commitments. We, World Water Warriors, want to promote water security policies worldwide in all levels of responsibility. We, World Water Warriors, we want to convince that water sobriety needs the modification of our behavior and change our habits. We, World Water Warriors, we want to upscale the design and application of nature-based solutions at basin level first. We, World Water Warriors, we want to call on all countries to write the right to water in their national constitutions, laws and local regulations, to propose that step by step the right to access to water becomes enforceable to all. We, World Water Warriors, we want to invite you to join a Money for Water coalition to be presented at the next United Nations conference, which includes sub-sovereignty and cancellation of the debt of water for the poorest countries in the world. We, World Water Warriors, we want to ensure that a high proportion of the various climate funds is naturally devoted to water and without forgetting wastewater. We, World Water Warriors, we want to call for international action to ensure more active, decentralized governance based on multilateral cooperation, as we are doing in this forum, which is also essential for strengthening the rails of mediation for rivers, for lakes, and for basins. A real, true hydro-diplomacy bringing peace to the banks rather than war to the rivers. And in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say to the people in this room and elsewhere in the world, we need you. We want new ideas. We want new debates to write together the future of water. So, with us, be the first World Water Warriors, get involved, and especially you, the youngest in this room and elsewhere, take the hand we are holding out to you. And again, Mr. President, thank you so much for your hospitality, but not only, for this wonderful preparation, for the real diplomatic victory which is crossing this forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Louis Fauchon. Please return to your respected seats. Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let us also take this special moment to represent you. Water for shared prosperity.
In a world plagued by the relentless grip of climate change, every living being is feeling the heat.
Kendati begitu,
Climate change. Species are vanishing, ecosystems collapsing. The balance of life is under threat. Without immediate action, and grasp this opportunity to discover concrete solutions for these crises and create a future where water security is secured for everyone.
We will now proceed with the presentations of Water for Shared Prosperity book by the World Bank Regional Vice President for East Asia Pacific. Now we kindly invite the President of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Jokowi Pimpin, to accept the book. Thank you. The welcoming remarks of the President of the Republic of Indonesia.
Yang mulia para pemimpin negara, pimpinan organisasi internasional, Presiden Dewan Air Dunia, Ketua DPR Republik Indonesia, hadirin dan tamu undangan yang saya muliakan. Selamat datang di Bali, suatu kehormatan bagi Indonesia dipercaya menjadi tuan rumah Forum Air Sedunia yang ke-10 untuk meneguhkan komitmen bersama dan merumuskan aksi nyata pengelolaan air yang inklusif dan berkelanjutan. Bisa kita bayangkan, dari 72% permukaan bumi yang tertutup air, hanya 1% yang bisa diakses dan digunakan sebagai air minum dan keperluan sanitasi. Bahkan di tahun 2050, 500 juta petani kecil sebagai penyumbang 80% pangan dunia diprediksi paling rentan mengalami kekeringan. Tanpa air tidak ada makanan, tidak ada perdamaian, tidak ada kehidupan. No water, no life, no growth. Oleh sebab itu, air harus dikelola dengan baik karena setiap tetesnya sangat berharga. Yang mulia, sebagai negara dengan luas perarian yang mencapai 65%, Indonesia kaya kearifan lokal dalam pengelolaan air, mulai dari sepanjang garis pantai, pinggiran aliran sungai, sampai tepian danau. Masyarakat kami memiliki nilai budaya terhadap air, salah satunya adalah sistem pengairan subak di Bali yang dipraktekkan sejak abad ke-11 yang lalu dan diakui sebagai warisan budaya dunia. Selain itu, bagi masyarakat Bali, air adalah kemuliaan yang mengandung nilai-nilai spiritual dan budaya yang harus dikelola bersama-sama. Hal tersebut sejalan dengan tema kita tahun ini, yaitu air bagi kemakmuran bersama, yang bisa dimaknai menjadi 3 prinsip dasar, yaitu menghindari persaingan, mengedepankan pemerataan dan kerjasama inklusif, serta menyokong perdamaian dan kemakmuran bersama, di mana ketiganya hanya bisa terwujud dengan sebuah kata kunci, yaitu kolaborasi. Di Indonesia, kolaborasi telah menjadi kunci keberhasilan dalam merestorasi Sungai Citarum, serta pengembangan energi hijau, solar panel terapung di Waduk Cirata, yang menjadi terbesar di Asia Tenggara dan ketiga di dunia. Yang mulia, dengan berkumpulnya kita di Bali hari ini, tentu Indonesia berharap dunia dapat saling bergandengan tangan secara berkesinambungan untuk dapat memperkuat komitmen kolaborasi dalam mengatasi tantangan global terkait air. Let's preserve our water today for shared prosperity tomorrow. And in relation to continuity, in October, my term as president will come to an end. And on this good occasion, allow me to introduce the President-elect of Indonesia, Mr. Prabowo Subianto. Who is currently serving as the Minister of Defense, who will continue Indonesia's commitment to contribute toward world water management. Terima kasih Pak Prabowo. Yang mulia, air
mantan terpidana
adalah
kasus
sumber
pembunuhan
kehidupan.
dan pemerkosaan
Air
Vina
juga
Cirebon,
merupakan
yakni Saka Tatal
simbol
berusia 23
keseimbangan
tahun,
dan
akhirnya
keharmonisan. Namun, jika tidak dikelola dengan baik, air juga dapat menjadi sumber bencana. Dan dengan mengucap Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Forum Air Sedunia ke-10 secara resmi saya nyatakan dibuka. Terima kasih.
And now, accompanied by Mr. Louis Fasson, His Excellency Mr. Luhut Binsar Panjaitan, Her Excellency Mrs. Retno Marsudi, and His Excellency Mr. Basuki Hadi Mulyono, we invite to the stage to finally opening the 10th World Water Forum. By the count of 3, 2, 1.
Harnessing the power as one. For the brightest smile on every face. For the future of our home. Welcome to the 10th World Water Forum 2024. Water for shared prosperity.
Mantan terpidana kasus pembunuhan dan pemerkosaan Pina Cirebon yakni Saka Tatal berusia 23 tahun.
Thank you, Excellencies. Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed the opening ceremony of the 10th World Water Forum 2024. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the departure of the leaders.
Sebagai negara besar harus berani melangkah, harus berani memiliki agenda besar untuk kemajuan negara kita, untuk kemajuan bangsa.